looked at some key areas of the economy. First and foremost, we looked at the reserve. The reserve has, foreign reserve has built up to over $40 billion, coming from as low as about $30 billion, which is a major improvement. And this is over 6 months import cover for Nigeria. And again, we have seen the fact that inflation has remained under control. If you recall, at the beginning of this year, there was partial removal of the fuel subsidy. And this particular action on its own is very, very, very inflationary. But then the central bank has managed the inflation to be at 12% where it is today. And again, the exchange rate has remained stable at within the plus or minus 3% band that the central bank has. For us, this is a major progress. And we looked at, going forward, what are the key things to do? We have looked at cost as a very major item in the banking industry. And the overhead alone in the Nigerian banks operations add significantly to the cost of lending, to the lending rate at which the customers borrow money from the banks, and so on. And one of the key things we've been driving for some time now is the Cashlight initiative, and that has been moving very, very, very well. And to support it is the higher denomination which we are coming up with, which is the 5,000 naira bill that is about to be released into circulation. We believe that this is going to reduce costs significantly. The reason being that cash management, cash handling is a major cost in the cost profile of banks. So if we are dealing with higher denomination, the cost of handling cash is going to reduce. And that's one of the things that we are looking at. And we believe that also in feeding the ATMs with cash, you now require a reduced number of notes to feed the ATMs and so on. But the key thing is that the 5,000 naira bill is going to be running side by side with the other denominations. So the issue of inflation is not there. It does not in any way affect inflation. In fact, there is no empirical evidence to show that higher denomination leads to inflation. It does not. Now, the cost savings that we are going to achieve by the higher denomination is now going, part of the benefit is going to pass to the consumers, in this case, the customers of the banks. And it has an indirect way of reducing the cost of borrowing from the banks by the customers.
You did mention that the Nigerian banking system will do all it can to support the growth of the country's economy, and that very soon you're coming up with initiatives that will support the growth of the economy. Can you take us through some of these initiatives and how they will improve on the country's economy?
The banking industry is in a major transformation plan, include the fact that recently we introduced the check truncation, and the implication is that the physical checks will no longer be taken to the clearing house and exchanged between banks. And one of the benefits of this is the fact that the time it takes to clear the checks has reduced significantly, which means that the customers can have easy access to money that they have deposited in the banks through the check instrument, and so on. That's one of them. The other one is the straight-through process in the STP, and it is aimed at reducing the time it takes, to handle transactions, process transactions, because all these are electronic. All of them are tying into the Cashlight economy or Cashlight model that we've been working on. You also have the RTGS, which is a real-time gross settlement, which is being worked upon, and it will also assist in reducing both error rates and improving on the transaction turnaround time.
Recently, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission decried that there are some unethical banking practices, especially with regards to the disclosure of identities of some people under investigation. Now, to what extent are banks aiding security in the fight against corruption?
First and foremost, it is the banking industry that has been driving a lot of compliance, especially with respect to anti-money laundering, AML. and the Know Your Customer. And we've been working on that. In fact, one of the major initiatives we are working on right now is the identity management system. We have, we have set up a committee of CEOs to look at the identity management system. And we have met with consultants. We have narrowed down to 2 particular consultants to work with. And again, we have narrowed down on the model that we want to adopt, and that is the biometrics. Now, all these are aimed towards reducing fraud in the system, towards ensuring compliance, and towards assisting the security agencies that are involved in investigation of suspicious individuals.